Hi, everybody. This is David Scott coming back with one of my stories that came to my mind. Hopefully, it'll help you, maybe going through some difficult times or trials that you have. Um, I certainly learn a lot from mistakes I make and from some of the things I go through. This particular one wasn't a mistake I made, but maybe you think it is. But I used to own a business that's located about 25 miles away from my house. I traveled that distance every day for 25 years to and from, and it's located in a county that's two counties away. So I had to go through a county to get to that county. And as I'm going through that middle county, I'm coming off an exit ramp, and I get down to the bottom of the ramp, and there's a car in front of me, and all is good. And as the light turns green, that car takes off, and I look at it, it's going. I take my foot off the brake. I take a last minute look to the left to make sure that nobody's coming. And then when I look ahead, because nobody's coming, she was stopped in front of me, and I just barely banged her, just a little tiny bit. I hit my foot on the brake and just banged her. There was no damage to either vehicle. Everything looked fine. I get out of the car, say, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And she goes, "No, I'm not okay. We're injured. My son, I'm calling an ambulance right now." And I'm like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yes." And before I knew it, within a few minutes, there was two ambulances, one for her and one for her son. There was several, 4 or 5 police cars, troopers, sheriffs, everybody, and there was at least 10 fire department people there with a fire truck. There was no fire. So, I'm just totally, sitting there stunned. I don't know what's going on. The officer came over to me and he's like, "Do you need an ambulance too?" I said, "No, there's not even any damage here." And had I known better, I would have gotten out my camera and whatever, and I would have taken pictures, but I was just sitting there in shock and not knowing what's going on. So that was it. After about half an hour, everything cleared away, and so I go home, and I don't hear anything about it for another 2 or 3 months. Then suddenly, I get an envelope in the mail, and the envelope is from her lawyer or whatever it was, and she's suing me for $1 million. Yep, $1 million. My car insurance covered up to 50,000 at that time, and this was about 20 years ago. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And things were already very tight with the business and what we were going through, and I didn't know what to do. And I contacted this lawyer that I knew from the business, and he took one look at it, and he showed me the picture of her vehicle, and it had this really bad bump in the bumper. Obviously she took the car and backed it into a tree really hard. And I said to the guy, I said, "Well, if that was the case, my bumper would have the same injury." And I said, "And if you hit somebody behind with a bumper, it's not going to make like a tree mark." And he goes, "I know, but I don't know what to do about it. This is what they gave me." So I didn't know what to do. I went home. I'm like, "Oh my God, we're going to go bankrupt." I don't know how can we possibly defend ourselves in all of this, so forth. And we had a prayer meeting that night, and this guy showed up at the prayer meeting that I've never seen before, and I never saw him since. And somebody in the prayer meeting took one look at me and said, "What's bothering you? Something's really bothering you." I said, "Yeah." I said, I told him what happened. And this guy just stops right away and just says, "Hey, you need to trust God. He's going to take care of the situation for you. Everything's going to be okay. You need to trust Him. Have some faith in it. He'll take care of you." And I'm like, "How's that going to happen? I don't know." But his words stuck with me, and they stuck with me. Several days went by. I'm driving that same road to go to work, and I see this sign on the side of the road, and this woman is running for the county sheriff, not county sheriff, the county treasurer. She's running for the county treasurer, and on her sue papers to me, it says that she's suffering from cognitive brain damage. cognitive brain damage. I said, well, that's kind of funny. It's going to be hard to be a treasurer when you have cognitive brain damage. So I took a picture of that sign. I went to my lawyer with it, and he goes, "Oh, this is perfect." And next thing you know, 2 or 3 weeks later, he calls me and says, "This case has been thrown out. There's nothing that's going to go on with this case." He said, because of the picture you showed, he said they realized that they have nothing to go on. And I was sitting there going, yeah. And I got so anxious. I was so fearful, and all this stuff going on. When all I really need to do is sit back and say, "Hey, you know what? God's in control. If He wants me to go bankrupt, I'm going to go bankrupt. But if He doesn't, He doesn't." And I just need to have faith, trust in Him, and whatever happens, He's in control if I trust Him to be in control of my life. So that's it, folks. Whatever you're going through, whatever trials, whatever tribulations you're going through, you just have to learn to just let God be God in your life and learn what He wants you to learn. In every trial we go through, it's either for you or for somebody else that you can learn and pass it on. So hope this helps today. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.